Jan, are you ready?
Yes, good morning, everyone. Sorry for the late start. Let's get going.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the excuse me, June 23rd, 2022 meeting of the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City. We have 10 items on the regular docket today, and we will begin. Item number 1, New Crosby's Pratt Incorporated, trading as trade name pending. Premises are located at 1846 to 50 West Pratt Street. This is an amended application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
For the record, Melvin J. Kaninsky, 320 North Charles Street, representing Ms. Crosby. This was approved before by the board. We had to file an amendment, and the situation is, I don't remember any of you remember Marvin Miller as an attorney. He's been around a long time. His family owns it. There's two properties, 1846 and 1848, and then 1850. For some reason, they never had them consolidated. So we have to get two different permits, two different UNOs. That's been the problem. We now think we have that solved, and I think that one should not be a problem going forward.
So your client is Ms. Crosby?
That's Ms.
Yes.
Crosby.
And was she was approved for 46 to 48?
Oh, absolutely.
And do you know when that was?
Probably was more than 270 days ago, because that's the reason why we have to refile it.
Okay. But the restaurant is going to encompass 46 through 50?
Correct, and that's how it reads on the license.
Okay.
Apparently, the UNOs don't read that way, but it was done probably before we had electricity.
Okay. And is it open?
No,
And is it going to be open soon?
once we get everything approved, yeah. If you know that corner, they have Bay Island Seafood that sells the crabs, and then the Hip Hop Chicken, and across the street's another crab place, and they've been there for a long time. It's a lot of people come to that area.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right. All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the amended application, which is essentially just to include another portion of the premises into the original approved location, and on the basis of the proffer by council, I would vote to approve the amended application to transfer ownership with continued live entertainment. Commissioners?
Based on the amended application, the proffer, the fact that we've already approved Ms. Crosby in the past, I too would approve this amended application to transfer ownership with the continuation of live entertainment.
Yes, based on testimony and materials provided today, I also approve the amended application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment.
Ms. Russell?
No, it was for the record.
All right, thank you. Good luck to you, ma'am.
Yep,
You
thanks.
can call them, Mike.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicant and council will receive instructions on how to legally complete the transfer, which was preliminarily approved today, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. The next matter, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Item number 2, Redwood South LLC, trading as Werner's. Premises are located at 219 to 31 East Redwood Street. This is an application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment, requesting outdoor table service, off-premises catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages of a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license.
For the record, again, Melvin J. Kaninsky, 320 North Charles Street, representing the applicants. This is an application to change the ownership and licensees. The board had granted this license to Redwood South LLC, trading as Werner's. Mr. Burns is on the license now, and he's going to be on there again. He and his dad developed that property, reopened that whole area there, and they're getting going. Mr. Crumb's had 5-6 years in the restaurant business. He's there every day since it opened. And Mr. Narain? Yep. Yeah, he's there for, I guess, moral and immoral support, whatever they need at the time. And I think you're all familiar with the location, open for breakfast. It's, a fairly nice place.
So is this merely to add Mr. Burns to the
Now, Mr.
LL?
Burns is on now, same LLC, but we're taking the other two people off and adding Mr. Crum and Mr. Ashok onto
So
the license.
we had approved the transfer to Redwood Smith LLC in the past, is that correct?
Correct, that's correct.
And the issue is now who's going to constitute Redwood South LLC?
Yeah, Mr. Crum and Mr. Narain are going to be the new people in there. So it's be the same operation, just two different parties. Because when they first opened, the Burns family really didn't intend on really operating it, but they had to get the license in, and then Mr.
Okay.
Crum's been there since they opened.
I understand. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
Okay. Anything further, Mr. Koniski?
No, I think we're going to get gravy for the french fries now.
We shall see. All right, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application and the proffer from counsel and his explanation of why this is before us again, I'm sorry, I'm fogging up from this mask. I vote to approve the application to transfer ownership with continued live entertainment, outdoor table service, off-premises catering, and delivery of alcoholic beverages. Commissioners?
Based upon the application, the proffer from Mr. Kadinsky, I too would approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment, outdoor table service, off-premises catering, and the delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment, requesting outdoor table service, and off-premise catering and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you. Good luck, gentlemen.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Licensees and council will receive follow-up instructions from this agency on how to legally complete this transfer, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. The next matter, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
RGM Liquor Incorporated, trading as Park Lane Cut Rate Liquors, 4416 to 18 Park Heights Avenue. This is an application to transfer ownership of an existing Class A beer, wine, and liquor license.
Good morning. Bruce Kurlander, 201 North Charles Street, Suite 2102, Baltimore 21201, on behalf of Satwinder Singh, James Forney, and Ravinder Kaur, and RGM Liquor, Inc. This is, again, a transfer of Class A 6-day license at 4416 to 4418 Park Heights Avenue to the to my clients.
Can you tell us a little bit about them, please?
Yes, Mr. Singh will be the manager of the liquor store. All of the licensees have completed the alcohol certification program. Mr. Singh will be the primary manager. He will make sure that all the laws and regulations relating to the sale of liquor in Baltimore City are met, and he'll make sure that people are carded, that they're at least 21 years of age in order to buy liquor. Mr. Singh previously owned a restaurant in Baltimore City for about 10 years, and before that he was a cab driver in Baltimore City. Mr. Singh will retain the 3 employees other than the existing owners who are obviously getting out of the business, but the 3 employees who are Baltimore City residents will be retained. Mr. Singh will be a responsible owner of the business, and he will make sure, if anybody complains, he will get involved and try to remedy the complaint. He also plans to attend local community meetings to make sure that everything is okay in connection with the liquor store. I also have Mr. Forney with me. He is the resident agent. He has lived in Baltimore for his entire life. He had a sign and a help me out, a sign and graphics company that he had owned. There is one change in the application in that the application indicates that Mr. Forney owns 10%. They've decided that he will not own an interest, but he will continue to be the secretary of the corporation, and that Mr. Singh and Ms. Kaur will own the other 50%. Will each own 50% of the interests in the company.
All right.
There's all well.
Go ahead.
I don't know whether it was received. There were a couple local businesses that signed letters in support. There was a letter of support from a Rite Aid and from a Dollar General.
We don't have those letters.
You don't have those? They didn't make their way in?
No.
Do you have copies for us today?
Can I, let's see. I have a copy of what I filed with down on 1
We'll
North
receive
Charles
it.
Street. They're the letters are similar. Basically, though, the commercial businesses in the area don't want any of the other commercial businesses to fail, so the Rite Aid and the Dollar General signed in support of the transfer of this application.
So I heard you to say that you're going to retain the employees, which is fine, but there was last year a problem with a sale to minor, so I hope that whoever was involved with that has been counseled and we're not going to have any problems going forward.
I would just like to say that that was under the ownership and management of the current owners.
I understand.
And Mr. Singh is going to be very vigilant to make sure that that does not happen again.
Okay. Commissioners have questions?
No questions.
So you'd mentioned that the applicants will be attending community meetings. Have you reached out to any community associations in advance?
Yes, sir.
I think
We
we
have to swear him in. He's going to speak.
Sir, all those here to testify, please raise your right hands.
Gentlemen, raise your right hands, please.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. State your name for the records.
Lean into the microphone and tell us your name, please. You can
Yeah.
take the mask off if you want.
Oh, I went to a couple of community offices. Satwinder Singh.
Good morning.
Yeah, I went to a couple of community offices and they said, we will send you next time notices. The previous owner, he was not attending any meetings. So I told them, whenever you send the notices, I will definitely come and attend the meetings.
Okay, so you reached out. Thank you. And then the only question I had was for Mr. Blendy, actually, which is that Mr. Kurlander mentioned that the ownership breakdown for Mr. Forney is going from 10% to 0%. Go ahead.
That was a mistake. It should have been 50-50 between Mr. Singh and Ms. Kaur.
Oh, I understand. I understand. No, I understand it was a mistake. I'm not questioning that. The question I have for Mr. Blendy is, I wouldn't believe that constitutes as a material change to the application such that we have to delay today's hearing.
It does not, and Commissioner, the other matter is because the ownership interest is not changing as far as no one is taking 51% control. It can be amended. I think the Assistant Executive Secretary is correct that we would prefer that the board require a written follow-up from the applicant's counsel stating, but the board can consider the oral testimony today. And also for the record, you do not have to have an ownership interest. 0% is fine. The law just requires that every licensee be compensated in some form or fashion. So as long as you're willing to attest that Mr. Forney will be compensated in some form or fashion, then that is fine.
Yes, he will, and if you'd like, he will state that on the record.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just to clarify that the application on page 3 indicates a breakdown that Mr. Kurlander, I don't want to make this a big deal, Mr. Kurlander is changing, and so our practice is if something is a material change to the application that comes before us, we don't take the case that day.
Right.
We have to, re-advertise, et cetera.
But you're correct, Mr. Commissioner. Because these 3 licensee applicants are the same 3 named people, it is not a material change. And because no one is taking 51% control, that is also not a material change.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Anything further? Okay. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the proffers from counsel and testimony received, I vote to approve the application transfer ownership of this Class A beer, wine, and liquor license. Commissioners?
Based upon the materials in the application, the proffer for Mr. Kurlander, the testimony, I too would approve the application to transfer ownership.
Based on the testimony and materials provided today, I approve the application to transfer ownership.
Ms. Russell?
I call exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, 2 letters of support from nearby businesses.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Good luck, gentlemen.
That concludes this matter before the board. Counsel and applicants will receive follow-up instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the transfer of ownership, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. The next matter, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Item number 4 on today's docket, JWH Bars LLC, trading as Lighthouse Tavern. Premises are located at 1224 to 26 South Clinton Street. This is an application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service of an existing Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Morning.
Good afternoon, or good morning. Stephen
morning.
W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant, Jason Harkinish, who's to my right.
Would you want to proffer, Mr. Fogelman?
Yeah, I sure do. This is it's an easy one, and it's close to my heart. Lighthouse Pub, 1224 to 26 South Clinton Street, just a few blocks away from my house in Canton. It's been a great bar for as long as I can remember, and I feel like I watched this guy grow up because he came to work at my favorite bar in Canton in 2007. Mahaffey's Pub on Dillon Street. He was a bartender there for over about 9 years before moving across Canton, across the neighborhood, to become the manager of the Lighthouse Cafe. At some point, he also became the city resident on the license, so he's already had his background check. I won't call the outgoing licensee an absentee licensee, but the bar was so well run by Mr. Harkinish that he didn't stop by every day, and there's never been a problem there. Mr. Harkinish knows the community association leaders on a first-name basis. He met with the Economic Development Committee thereon, and they told him whatever you need. He's so close with them that this all bypassed me. So I didn't get a chance to ask Doug Kaufman specifically for a letter of support. But he's well known, and in fact, a couple of them said, we thought you already owned the place. So an exceptional manager. His team is all alcohol management certified, including himself. He's not going to make any fundamental changes to the bar, to the restaurant, to the kitchen. It serves excellent food. And it's just a good community bar.
Right.
Do you have anything in the file from any letters of support?
We don't.
Okay. But yeah, I'm proffering that he did sit down with them and that they were very supportive of his application for transfer of ownership.
I'm surprised that with your practice that you refer to some facilities as your favorites.
Yeah, that's bad. I got to stop that. That was Mahaffey's. I'll still say was probably one of my all-time favorites in Baltimore City bars. But there are some really good ones out there, and new ones that haven't even opened yet.
Okay, commissioners, have any questions?
No question.
No questions.
All right, Mr. Fogelman, on the basis of the materials contained in the application and your extensive proffer, and on the record here, which shows no violations in the history while Mr. Harkinish has been there, I'd vote to approve the application to transfer ownership with continued outdoor table service. Commissioner?
Based upon the application, the proffer from Mr. Fogelman, I too would approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service.
Based on the testimony and materials provided today, I approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you all.
Thank you very much. Good luck, sir.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council has received follow-up instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the transfer, with the board preliminarily approved today, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. The next matter?
Yes, please.
Number 5 on our docket, Upscale City Bar and Grill LLC, trading as Upscale City Bar and Grill. Premises are located at 2036 Eastern Avenue, and this is an application to transfer ownership of an existing Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Peter Preface on behalf of the applicants. This is William Chuck Edmonds and his son Charles Edmonds.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. Do you want to proffer for them?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. This is a transfer of ownership only of currently Port City Tavern at 2036 Eastern Avenue. Mr. Edmonds, the senior, the purchase price is going to be $99,000, which is going to be payable at settlement in cash from personal savings. He will be leasing the premises from the current owner as well. He plans on being the full-time operator. The establishment has a kitchen, and he intends to utilize the kitchen. He tends to be open 7 days a week. He'll open around 11 to get started for lunch and until closing time at 2. He anticipates to begin with 3 employees on shift, 1 in the kitchen and 2 out front. He has prior experience many years ago dealing with alcohol. He had worked at the Hustler many years ago. Currently, he works with his wife in the He's the CFO of, what's it called again?
Clinical solutions.
Yeah.
Our mental health.
And he's been doing that. I asked him what drew his attention to this establishment. He was looking to get into something, and his son is going to be, he's going to continue with his current job, but he hopes to bring his son in and teach him the business a little bit. But it's planned to be a neighborhood type of bar. There's no request for live entertainment. There's no outdoor table service there. Charles, the younger, works on this floor. He works for the Mayor's Office of Family and Children's Services, so he just ducked right over from here. But Dad's intending to be the full-time operator, and he's really hoping that his son will join him in this endeavor.
Will everyone be tip certified?
They will. We've discussed that.
Okay, commissioners have questions?
No question.
No questions.
All right, thank you. Mr. Priebus, then on the basis of materials contained in the application and your extensive proffer, I vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of this BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. I know there have been no violations since back in 2004, so it's got a good record and keep it that way. All right. Commissioners?
Based upon the application and the proffer from Mr. Previs, I too would approve the application to transfer ownership and concur with the judge's sentiment and wish you guys luck.
Thank you.
Based on testimony materials provided today, I also approve the application to transfer ownership of the BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck, gentlemen.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicants and council receive follow-up correspondence from this agency with instructions on how to legally complete the transfer, which must, by law, occur within 180 days of today's hearing. Next matter, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Item number 6 on today's docket, Annapurna 108 LLC, trading as trade name pending, 2903 O'Donnell Street, and this is an application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment and outdoor table service of an existing Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Good morning, Your Honor. Frank Boozer on behalf of Annapurna LLC and the applicants.
Good morning.
If I may proffer into the record important facts regarding the application.
Go ahead.
This location is somewhat well known. It's right on the Canton Square, right next to Nacho Mama's. That's been there for quite some time. In my day, I remember 20 years ago, it used to be Rick's Cafe American with the open bay windows. It's been shut down for several months before my clients went in. And to their credit, and I can't remember the last time that this was the case, they've been open and operating for 4 months without liquor licenses, without the sale of liquor before this hearing. As a testament to their restaurant experience, their food, and their commitment to the service to the community. My client, Mr. Top, has been involved in the restaurant industry for close to 20 years. He started his career off in New York. In the last pretty much 10 years has been in Baltimore, and this is his first restaurant of any kind. And as I said, as a testament, he's been open in one of the biggest bar districts in thriving in Baltimore without the sale of alcoholic beverages. The hours of operation are going to be 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., and it's going to be a mix of Indian, Nepalese, and American food. Is that right, Mr. Tapa? It's my fault that we've yet to sign the MOU with the community associations because my wife had a baby last Thursday, and I just haven't got it off my desk yet. So as the board knows, the MOU for Canton Community Association is pretty much standard. And Mr. Tapa's been involved and going to be involved ongoing in the community association. So I couldn't think of a better applicant to provide that level of food service to a community that's sometimes plagued by excessive alcohol consumption and simply bar restaurants. If Mr. Fogelman was still here, I'd say that's Fogelman country. I think he's been there before, and I've talked to him about it. He said the food's excellent. Ms. Jenkins is, of course, our resident licensee. She's to be compensated on a yearly basis, and she works where I was this time last Thursday at GBMC Hospital. So it all connects. I think the applicants have fit and proper. I cannot stress, I can't think of a time that A client of mine has opened a restaurant without a liquor license and solely relied on their expertise in food service capabilities. But they've done well, and I'm going to ask the board to grant the application based on that proffer.
Well, congratulations. Did you have a boy or a girl?
A boy, unfortunately. I have some experience in boys, and boys are trouble. I know that. I mean,
Well, I hope everyone's healthy.
yeah, they are, Your Honor. Thank you.
Commissioners?
No question.
No questions.
Okay. And what are Good Vibes?
His name of the restaurant.
Oh, it's another restaurant?
It's,
Or is that going to be the name of it?
It's under the American Good Vibes Indian.
it's the Good Vibes American and Indian cuisine.
Oh, I
That's where
see.
they're going to call it,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. All right. Okay, thank you. On the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the extensive proffer from council, and any testimony received, I vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of this BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license with continued live entertainment and outdoor table service. Is he willing to have the MOU become a part of the license?
Absolutely.
So it'd be subject then to the terms of the finally negotiated and signed memorandum of understanding with the Canton Community Association to the extent those terms are enforceable by law. And I note for the record, this place does not have a history of violations.
I don't think so, Your Honor.
Commissioners?
No questions.
Based upon the application and the proffer from Mr. Boozer, I too would approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment and outdoor table service, subject to the terms of the MOU with the Canton Community Association once it's executed, to the extent that's enforceable by law.
Thank you,
Yes,
Commissioners.
based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment and outdoor table service for BD7 beer, wine, liquor license, subject to the MOU between the establishment and what's it, Canton Community Association?
Correct.
Okay.
Mrs. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
And where do you work at GBMC?
Infusion.
In what?
The infusion.
I can't hear her.
Infusion Center.
Oh, I have a niece who works there, that's why I was asking. Okay. Good luck to you. Thank you.
Nice to see you, as always. Thank you.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council's receiving follow-up instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the transfer of ownership, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. Next matter, Mr. Chair.
Yes, let's.
Item number 7 on today's docket, Luigi LLC trading as Game On. Premises are located at 902 South Charles Street. This is an application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service, requesting delivery of alcoholic beverages of a current Class B beer, wine, and liquor license.
For the record, Melvin J. Kadensky, 320 North Charles Street, representing the applicant in this case. Ms. Lewis is the city resident that is not going to have no active part in it. Ms. Linthicum, you might have saw in a newspaper, they have the new concept where they have arcade together with the operation of a restaurant. They have a location in Annapolis where their licensees there, her husband's there, and they operate that in Annapolis. So they have experience in the business. Casey's been operating since the renewal times over the last several months have been very well received in the area. She will be alcohol certified and be familiar with the rules and regulations of the liquor board. Make sure that everybody that works there is alcohol certified, and they've been very well received by the neighborhood and the area with this concept. And I'm an old guy, okay? I'm an old dog. I like to see young people decide to do some things and try to breathe some life into it and get some younger people involved. And I think that's a real credit to open in Annapolis, which is a tough place to go, and also in this particular area.
Okay, commissioners have questions?
No questions.
Yeah, I just explain the concept.
Do you want? Probably easier because I'm,
Not at all, but can we swear her in, please?
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Step up here and
Give
It's
us your name.
like a
Name.
90s theme retro
Excuse me,
arcade.
can you tell us your name?
Casey Linthicum.
Yeah, we're on television in the record, so we have to do that. Okay, good morning.
Good morning. So we have a 90s theme, like retro arcade bar. So we have old school arcade games, and then it's also a bar, and we have a kitchen and all that too.
And in Annapolis, it's the same.
In Annapolis, it's the same. Yes, in Annapolis.
What street is it on Annapolis?
It's on West Street. It's in a historic, like, old firehouse building, but now it's an arcade bar.
Fun.
Lots of fun.
All right, good to know. Thank you.
Do you have to put real money in, or do you use?
It takes, the games take quarters and then also tokens, either
And
one.
do you get those little tickets like when I was a kid? I went to
don't,
the
I'm
arcade,
sorry.
and at the end of the year, you got like
No tickets.
one thing that was worth a nickel for your whole summer of skee ball?
You get a pen.
Okay. All right, anything further?
Nothing.
All right, on the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from council and testimony, I vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of this Class B beer, wine, and liquor license with continued outdoor table service, delivery of alcoholic beverages, and I note for the record that it has no history of violations.
Based upon the application, the proffer, as well as the testimony, I vote to approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service and the delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also approve the application to transfer ownership with continuation of outdoor table service and also requesting delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
All right, thank you. Good luck, Ms. Lindsay.
Thank you,
Good luck.
everybody. Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicant and council received follow-up instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the transfer, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's approval. The next matter, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Item number 8 on today's docket. This is 4325 Blair Road Incorporated, trading as Sheldon's Lounge. Premises are located at 4325 to 27 Bel Air Road. This is a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of alcoholic beverages 12-1705B of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner. Sean Harvey, 309 South Conkling Street, Baltimore 21224 for the applicants. If I may preliminarily state that the applicants are actually, it's not 4325 Bel Air Road, Inc., it's Sheldon 2021, Inc. was the applicant. That's how it was requested, my letter of June 1st. Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, we had many difficulties trying to get the inspectors through there, I guess because of their backlog through the COVID pandemic. We finally did get the C of O at the end of May, and we received a warning letter from your office stating that if we don't have this application extended by June 14th, then the application would expire. I sent in the letter to the board requesting this extension hearing on June 1st, and it said it was timely. We only have a few more things to take care of. I'm waiting for the health department food permit to come in. That's been applied for. Once we get that, we get the trader's license, and then I'm still waiting for the bulk transfer permit to come in, and then.
Do you think you can do it in 90 days?
Oh, yeah, we'll probably have that done before the month is out.
Okay. And was this just a typo on our part?
You respect the corporation? My belief is that the current license is held under 4325 Blair Road Incorporated, and when the transfer is approved, and that the board previously approved his new business entity, and yes, so I believe it's the confusion there.
Understood. Okay, commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Harvey. On the basis of your written request of June 1, 2022, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Commissioners?
Based upon Mr. Harvey's letter of June 1st, 2022, his proffer this morning, I too would grant the 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also approve the request for a transfer hardship extension for the BD7 beer, wine, liquor license of 90 days.
Thank you very much.
Ms. Russell?
Yes, have one exhibit, letter of support from Bel Air Edison Community Association dated, no date, I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Next matter, Mr. Chair.
Please.
Item number 9 on today's docket, Gooder LLC, trading as the Avenue Bar and Liquors, 1238 Greenmount Avenue, and this is a request for a 90-day transfer hardship extension under the provisions of alcoholic beverages 12-1705B of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Peter Previs on behalf of the applicants. We were here before the board in January, and the transfer was approved. all the inspections have been completed. I just have a couple mop-up items that need to be done and hope to get them done before the end of June. I'm respectfully requesting 90 days. I have to get a comptroller clearance, the bulk liquor, and director of, or law department clearance.
Okay, commissioners have any questions?
No question.
No questions.
All right, thank you, Mr. Previs. On the basis then of your written request of June 6, 2022, and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Thank you very much.
Based upon Mr. Previs's letter of June 6th and his proffer this morning, I too would grant the 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also approve the request for transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Ms. Russell?
It was for the record.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Shall we read the final matter, Mr. Chair?
I guess so.
Item number 10 on today's docket, P&M Property Solutions LLC, trading as Edna's Place. Premises are located at 2148 Wilkins Avenue, and this is a request for a transfer hardship extension of 90 days under the provisions of Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1705B of an existing Class D beer, wine, and liquor license.
For the record, lastly, in the penultimate, is that what they just say, the penultimate
That's
case?
the next to last.
Next to the last.
Yes, so you're the last.
Second verse, same as the first.
Ultimate.
Ultimate.
Yes.
320 North Charles Street. This is another request. Everything is pretty much done. They had some plumbing problems they had to straighten out with the replacement of things. Most all of them are done, but in an abundance of caution, I'd like to ask for the 90 days in that particular location.
Okay, commissioners have questions?
No question.
No questions.
All right, Mr. Kudensky, on the basis then of your written request of May 31, 2022, your proffer this morning, I vote to approve a 90-day transfer hardship extension for this Class D beer, wine, and liquor license. Commissioners?
Based upon Mr. Kudensky's letter of May 31st, as well as his proffer, I too would grant the 90-day transfer hardship extension.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also approve the request for transfer hardship extension of 90 days.
Ms. Russell?
No, it was for the record.
Thank you, Mr. Kudensky.
Thank you.
Good luck, folks.
That concludes this matter before the board.
Are we finished then, Mr. Blundy?
Yes, Mr. Chair, there are no more matters before the board. Do you have any final remarks?
No, you want to read the adjournment?
Yes, sir. That concludes all matters before the board on today's docket. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City shall stand in recess until Thursday, July 14th, 2022.
Okay, thank you. Thank you to the commissioners and the staff and everyone who participated today. I wish everyone a happy and healthy 4th of July holiday, and we'll see you on the 14th.
Okay.
Off the record.